Our goal is simple: to help you achieve the dream and vision you first had when you thought about starting a business. We're here to make growing your business less complicated. There are building blocks to build a sustainable business. We promise to seek them out and address them all. The Better Your Business Show starts now.
Hello, good morning to the Better Your Business Show. I'm Natalie, financial strategist and your host this morning, and we are super excited to be here with you. So whether you are joining us live or watching the replay, make sure you go to pillar5.com, take your free assessment, and then join us live so we can answer any questions or concerns that you have throughout the show. Super excited today because we are having Denise O'Malley, CEO and founder of Untitled Wellness, with us here this morning, and some of the practitioners that are part of her forum as we are talking about healthcare, which I'm very passionate about and excited about. She's really changing a lot of how healthcare is offered with insurance plans. So it's really exciting to talk about. They're really revolutionizing healthcare, which I think there's not very many people that would disagree with the fact that that needs to be done. So we're talking about alternative options, why what each of us does is an important part of living a happy, healthy, and thriving life. And hey, insurance hasn't changed. So we're talking about it this morning with wellness advocate Denise O'Malley, founder of Untitled Wellness. So if we can bring her into the studio this morning. All right, Denise, reformed insurance agent. I won't hold it against you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So more than 3 decades in health insurance. You've seen a lot, been part of a lot. It was very interesting to me to hear your story and really, I guess, understand how healthcare is even put together. I don't know that very many of us have thought about that before. So I love the platform that you've put together. I'm just really excited to dig in deep into it and hear where your heart is at. You're really revolutionizing an industry, and we're thrilled to be a part of it. So let's kind of dig deep into what made you shift and work so hard to do all this.
You mean after I saw how the sausage was made, I needed to get out of there?
Right, exactly.
That's pretty much the way it was. So you want to hear the story of how I got out of there?
Yes, definitely.
Literally woke up nauseated one morning with the thought of going to work and doing what I was doing. And it was mainly just a feeling that no matter whatever I did in the roles that I had as an executive, as a national sales director, as an agency owner and a broker, I wasn't going to have any major impact because everybody sells the exact same plans. There's nothing creative about it. I mean, there is when you get into some of the larger ones that are self-funded and they can get creative, and there's some new programs that are coming out on the market that are kind of interesting out there. But for the most part, everything was the same. And the plans weren't changing. They were just getting more expensive. They were getting less comprehensive, more out-of-pocket expenses. I just literally couldn't do it anymore. So it was like, you know what, I'm out of here, and I left abruptly.
So you left, and then you decided I'm going to put together a different type of healthcare package. Is that kind of how this started?
Well, how it started, literally I left abruptly. I just woke up one morning with the thought of, to save my soul, I've got to get out of here, and I got to get out of here now. And my clients knew that I'd been wanting to make a transition, and they just kept giving me more projects. And, I had bills to pay, so I just kept doing those projects. But just because I was good at doing something doesn't mean that I liked necessarily what I was doing. So I needed to get out. And didn't have a backup plan, but I did have something on the shelf in my closet, which was a business plan for putting together a payroll deduction massage therapy program. That's how we started. And a little voice in the back of my head said, you need to do it. Take it off the shelf. You know what you need to do. You have the skills and resources to do it. Go do it. And so I started putting it together. And we launched January 1, 2016 with no provider network. And I knew I needed to have a provider network to get going. And as I started going to these meetings, I started networking meetings and meeting other healthcare practitioners of various types, I started realizing that we really needed to broaden the scope of what you define wellness was, from not just massage therapy. So, and it resonated with the healthcare market. These providers, these practitioners, these experts would say to me, "Oh my gosh, this is exactly what we've always needed. This is what I've wanted." They just didn't know how to put it together. And that happened to be my weird skill set. So we evolved, but today where we are is we have over 130 modalities in our network. Those are the different types of services, everything from acupuncture, chiropractic, massage therapy to fitness, Reiki, new age modalities, financial, spiritual counselors, leadership, everything for life, because this is more than just one, this body is more than one dimension. And so we just really expanded into these other areas, and it resonated with people. There's like, yeah, there's something for everyone that is in our world.
I love it so much. So really it's about bringing awareness to wellness, right? You define wellness, which I love, because a lot of times we're not talking about wellness, we're talking about illness, being sick, but it's like, no, how do we stay healthy, right? Let's talk about being well and having those things in place. And all these alternative options are becoming more mainstream now. We're talking about them more, people are using them more, and it costs money too, right? So I love that you have a platform where you can put all these things that really we need for healthy living to have that. So can you talk a little bit about who's on your, let's talk about now, are you still looking for practitioners to be on that platform? So if I'm, in that realm and I decide, hey, I want to be part of a health insurance package, can I reach out to you for something like that?
Yes, but let me correct you on something. We're not part of a health insurance package. We can be part of a health insurance package. We have right now about 300 vetted health and wellness practitioners of these various modalities. My goal is actually to have thousands. So in order for us to have thousands, well, let me back up a step. In order for us to be catering to big business and health insurance plans that want to partner with us, we have to have thousands of practitioners in our network. Right now, we have 300 vetted professionals. I have a couple thousand who are in my exterior world that haven't joined us yet, and hopefully they will be coming on board. But absolutely, we would love to have invite them into what it is that we are doing. And I want to step back on something that we said. I kind of overlooked it. As an insurance person, and I was in the area of employee benefit programs, so the health insurance, the dental, the vision, I met with thousands and thousands of people, enrolling them in their employee benefit plans. And it was not uncommon for them to say to me, do you have anything that covers fill in the blank? Things that were not part of their health insurance plan. A health coach, a life coach, a personal trainer. It could be somebody for the energy healing modalities, the Reiki, the healing touch, or whatever it was that they were doing, because they're paying for it out of their pocket. The stat is 59 million Americans are spending $30.2 billion a year out of their pocket on things not covered by insurance. And these are the things that they're doing to stay healthy, so that they're not having to use their health insurance plan, for crying out loud. And you want to support them. And so that also went into our decision to launch You Define Wellness the way we did.
I love it so much, because it's really getting down to the problem and giving all these different options for people to look at, instead of just having the option of, well, this is what my insurance covers, this is what they say to do. And it brings awareness that there's other options, that lets us know, hey, just because I walk into that one doctor's office and they say this is the way things have to be done, that doesn't mean that's the one option that I have. There's so many other ways to do things. And so I'm super excited about the platform.
Yeah, well, I have people in my own family who, when something is wrong, the first thing they do is they pull out their provider directory for their medical insurance plan, and they go see their primary care physician, who then either pulls out their white pad and writes a prescription or sends them over to a specialist. And in some cases, that's the appropriate thing to do. It is not always the appropriate thing to do. And while some modalities are now being introduced to medical students, it's still not their mainstream of what they're doing. So a lot of them have not had exposure to things that work that are not taught at medical school. And
Yes.
so it's been a very slow change. And from the health insurance perspective, they really don't want these things in their medical plan. They don't want other things. And then the reason is every time you add a new benefit to a health insurance plan, there is a cost associated to it that is built into the price of the plan. So I've had disagreements with people who have said, yeah, but if they're, it's a transfer. If they're doing chiropractic and acupuncture and Reiki and all these other different things, then they're not using the Western medicine, the allopathic medicine. So it's going to balance out. Well, no, that's not true, because so many people are already paying out of pocket for these things and also using their medical insurance plan. So it's not going to be a transference at all. It's just going to be added cost. So if you want all this stuff in your medical plan, how much are you willing to pay? Most people will say not a whole lot.
Right. It's expensive.
It's expensive, and it's getting more expensive. I mean, my firstborn, when he came along 25 years ago, he cost me $5. That was for the diagnosis that you're pregnant. I never had another copay at all. Not for the delivery, nothing. $5.
Wow. Yeah.
The next kid that came along, it was $300 a month minimum that I was paying, plus all these $20 and $50 copays for every test that I was doing. It changed rapidly 20 years ago.
Definitely. Well, I'm excited. I know we have some of the practitioners that are on the platform here with us this morning. So we're going to get to know them a little bit, see a little bit about the variety. I don't know if I had ever shared with you that when I graduated high school, I went to school to be a medical assistant because my intentions were to be a nurse. And when I graduated as medical assistant, which I don't know why I don't like blood. I don't know why I picked that.
I don't either.
Or being cut into. I've never even had a surgery because I'm like, I'll avoid it at all costs. But I did my internship at a chiropractor's, and that's what shifted everything for me.
Yeah.
And I just thank God for that so much. So we are going to start off. Well, let's start off. We have Dr. Erika Schultz here with us. She is a acupuncture and she specializes in Chinese medicine. So we'll go ahead and bring her up this morning. Then we have Jayne Sanders. She is creator of the Executive Success Blueprint, and she's a spiritual life coach. She's founding member of Success Authority. It's really cool. She does hand reading. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Well, she'll break that down for us more, but it's super cool to hear what she does. I love it. We have Eva Venari with us, and she is the CEO of the Elevate Institute, which helps take care of body and health. And she uses a lot of different minerals and stuff, I know, to do that. I have a friend that's a client of hers. That's been awesome to hear that story. And then we have Terry and Kelly, who are a mother-daughter duo with us this morning from Fearless Generations Life Coaching, to teach us really what fear is and to kick it to the side and embrace that area of our life, right? Fearless Generations. So some of the practitioners on Untitled Wellness, ladies, welcome. We're happy to be here with you and to learn more about what you do. I would love to hear from all of you what made you decide to be on a platform like this. Also, we hear more about what you do. But so Dr. Erika, if we could just get started with you and hear more about acupuncture, Chinese medicine, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and I also do clinical nutrition. A big portion of my practice is actually working with individuals in terms of helping identify what nutritional healing programs are customized, specific to them, and are necessary for them to get to better wellness. We work with a lot of chronic autoimmune conditions, thyroid problems, weight loss, things like that, that are really stubborn. And we're able to resolve those at the root cause and get people into a better position where they're healing and doing well. So I'm on here today really just because I am 100% in support of what Denise is building. I mean, I just think it's so important. I also have a corporate background, and I worked in HR for many years, and I just saw firsthand of not having some additional modalities and things available to people. And, I kind of concur with what Denise was speaking about. When you look at with best of intentions, what these health insurance programs are covering are basically Western medical programs and plans and systems. And, the doctor's tool is a drug or a surgery. And that is what she knows in terms of their modalities. And they do the best they can by their patients. And yet they are limited in terms of that. And it's interesting because, myself, I practice in a brick and mortar in Denver, Colorado, but I also have clients all over the country as well. And it's just really interesting. I mean, I've just in recent talks and collaboration with a really renowned medical doctor in the area here who has many clinics and specializing in autoimmune conditions and utilizing biologics to help his patients. And he sees the value in this type of approach. And so we're in talks and collaborating further. So it's interesting because there's really a system that's at play here, but there are these people and these individuals that are a part of the system who are starting to also reach out of the system, knowing that there's value to be added and that they can't get access to that through the conventional way that we're taking care of healthcare in this country. So I think it's a really important topic. I think what Denise is offering, and I've been walking along her and following her through this path because I just believe so much that this is what the right path that we need to be on to help improve outcomes for people in our country. And so I just believe in it wholeheartedly. So that's why I'm here.
Natalie, you're muted.
Jayne Sanders, our purpose whisperer.
Hi, I didn't hear anything you said before that, but here I am. So,
awesome.
Yeah, I do. The main thing I do is help people identify their innate purpose and the gifts, the talents they have to help them fulfill that purpose, and blind spots that are tripping them up. I got into it because I've had 3 prior corporate careers and would hit a wall in each one where I just wasn't happy anymore. And I knew something was missing and I was off track, and started looking for my own purpose and Googled, how do I find my purpose, and found scientific hand analysis, which of course immediately I thought was palm reading, which many people do, but it is far from it. There's no predictions to it. It's so accurate that Forbes wrote about it. Anyway, I had it done and it blew my mind. I mean, it explained so much about my life and why that worked, but that didn't, and why I liked that, but didn't like that. And I just saw so many patterns and why they existed. And even things I hadn't thought about resonated. And I knew if I took action on it, I'd find my way to how to express my purpose, which I did. I realized after a few months, good grief, if I was so lit up and inspired before I even knew what to do with my purpose, I want to help people feel like that. So I started studying scientific hand analysis, started doing it after my first certification. I'm as highly certified now as possible. I'm a master, which means I've helped over 1,000 people. Actually, it's closer to 3 or 4. And I have clients in 12 countries because I do it through Zoom and using handprints. What does that have to do with health? Well, Denise just gave a great example of what it has to do with health. Because when we're not in alignment with our innate purpose, which over half of the world is not, things don't work. It can feel lots of different ways. It can feel like boredom, feeling stuck, overwhelmed, off track, confused, procrastinating all the time. And if we miss the little nudges from the universe telling us, come on, you're not on purpose, you're not doing what you're meant to do. If we miss, because God tries with lots of nudges and whacks up the side of the head, and it can lead to physical health issues, not to mention emotional, mental, mindset things, but it can lead to physical issues because you're just way off purpose, and we're meant to do what we were born to do. That may sound corny to some people, but I believe it with every cell in my body. So I'm on purpose now. I absolutely love what I do. I help people love their lives and love their work. And that feels really good.
Awesome. I love that. That's quite a high number. I was wondering what the statistics were on that. Dr. Erika, I'm wondering that too about with you as well. What percentage of people are suffering from some type of challenge in that area, whether it's autoimmune or I know there's a different couple things that you do, but how many of us are suffering from something like that and don't know that someone that's in your field can help with that?
I don't have the end all number for that, but we know that heart disease is our number one killer in this country. We also know that cancer is number two. We have a long way to go in terms of improving outcomes in our healthcare system, and we have one of the most advanced and in terms of diagnostics, systems set up that is really, unfortunately, not producing the outcomes that we want to see. We have one of the worst infant mortality rates for industrialized countries. So our statistics aren't really showing a great scorecard. We're not really winning in the context of what we're doing. So it's really important to be looking at health sooner on, and people, I always say people are going to make an investment in their health no matter what, right? And so even in the context of if you're just working from the Western medical system and you are getting a lot of your insurance or a lot of your healthcare being covered by insurance, but the problem is, even financial investors at Fidelity, they actually recommend to a couple that they save, over $150,000 as a part of their retirement plan just for their healthcare costs alone. And that's after insurance. So, you're going to make an investment at some point in your life in your health. And it's a matter of, do you want an outcome where you can get to the root cause of those things? You can offset some major medical diagnoses. And most importantly, you can also have an opportunity to live a more vital life in which, you have the energy to be on purpose, to do some of these incredible things that these my colleagues here are going to be talking about momentarily. So the energy is important to live your purposeful life.
And I love that you brought that up with the healthcare with the heart and cancer, stroke, because I'm a financial strategist. I've been almost 18 years. A lot of times people think that I just do life insurance because I talk about it so much. A big part of that is because you need to get it while you're young and healthy. That's the best time to do it. It's going to wipe you out financially in your future. And now we have living benefits to help with cancer, heart attack, stroke. So these policies can pay for those things while we're living. And we just don't talk about that, just like what you guys are bringing to the table. Enough people don't know they have these resources. Most people haven't saved enough. We get to that time of life. We don't have the money to pay for our health care. We wipe out our retirement to pay for our living expenses. And then what do? We're too old to get a job again. What do we do? So,
and you're too sick and tired to live out that retirement. It's really what are we doing?
Exactly. We're never enjoying it. So I love it. So Eva with the Elevate Institute, which I love the name of your company. I love that it has Eva in it. The first time I saw your logo, I was like, I love that. So creative.
Not many catch that right off, but they eventually do. And they go, I can't get on an elevator without saying, oh, my name's there. I'm a little bit narcissistic, maybe.
That's so funny. I love it.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Yeah. Well, I'm a previously sick corporate ladder climber. And my burnout story is much like what has been previously told here, is that you try to fit into a way of life that's been sent, or I should say paved before you. This is a normal way of life. Get a job, do this, retire, But I started being very sick at a very young age. At the age of 20, I was told I had autoimmune disorder, which then turned into infertility. And then I went through a various degree of issues where I had 30 different symptoms and diagnoses that doctors were, like we've all been saying, are very willing to give you an antidepressant and a drug for pain. But there was no course of action for actual help. And they kept saying to me, Eva, we don't know what's wrong with you, which is a very interesting statement. And I started to believe it after 10 doctors and firing them all. So I was blessed with insomnia up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I found this work that I now offer, which is mineral balancing. And it's all based on the information found in your hair, and it gives us a baseline so that we can restructure your body's foundation. And talking about what is underneath problems, well, I find them and have a great time with individuals uncovering and unwrapping the process of healing the layers of metabolism that they've been dealing with their whole life, causing inflammation, and isn't that the magic word of the time? And really getting out of the head about what it means to truly be holistically healthy. It is not just a separation of mind, body, spirit, in the same way that we can't separate holistic health from Western medicine. It is all good as long as it's timely and appropriate. And that's my stance. And so it's about teaching people how to be advocates rather than bystanders, and really taking the reins on their own health. And that's the purpose of the Elevate Institute, is bring you to a different place than you've ever thought you could be.
I love it. Teaching people to advocate for themselves too, right? I love it so much, and getting into that holistic. So how different is it when you take someone's strand of hair? Are we all very different on what those, on what we would need? Is it based also maybe on like where we lived and what our food is like around us?
You would think. There's, interestingly, I've had clients from Peru to Dubai. That's no lie. So from, depending on where a person is in the world, I thought, oh, this person in Peru is probably pretty clean. They were just as dirty as a person like myself, born and raised in Los Angeles, full of all kinds of toxins. And I think a lot of that comes from our over-industrializing of our food supply chain. And when we look at the process of, it's not about what we're lacking in our diet or what we're lacking in our body. What determines our vitality actually is a relationship of minerals in it. And so the relationship of minerals has to start with our food, because that's where we're supposed to get it. So it's no longer a question of if we should take supplements, it's how much and what kind. And when we get very specific, we can then heal a person from where they are rather than guessing. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that everyone has ideals. All humans have an ideal that we want to get to so that we can fall asleep without being exhausted, stay asleep without waking up in the middle of the night, waking up refreshed, remembering our dreams, and having the energy to get through the day without expectations of getting in the Starbucks line 3 or 4 times a day and then wine at night, which is what I find to be the typical thing for especially the high performer in any business. So this is something that we're trying to get away from, but don't know how necessarily. And I feel like I found the answer, but a lot of people are, you're getting one or two camps. You either are all about, I'm the medicine, no matter where it comes from, I'm okay with the medicine and taking of the pill, or I want to look for something outside of the pill, because at some point, you're taking more medication than is reasonable. And I'll give you the reason why I started my business is my ex-husband passed away at the age of 45, working with 17 medications. He had a massive heart attack. And so he started off with 1. And then by the end of that year, he was taking 3 more for the symptoms of that drug. And then it just kept snowballing. And that's 45 years old. And I'm wondering how many people don't need to get to 45. They're much younger now, and they're taking medication for things that they don't need to long term.
That's right. Yes. I'm so glad you said that. Because the long-term effects, that's what we aren't thinking about, is those long-term effects of it. So awesome. So we are here this afternoon with You Define Wellness, some of the practitioners. We are going over healthcare and alternative options. We are going to go into a quick commercial break. So go take this time to refill your coffee, and we will be right back. See you soon.
Business owners that their companies are generating less than $250,000 a year, which puts them in the bracket of a high probability of failing before getting to year 10, according to the Department of Labor. So this was really talking to that audience. It applies to anyone who is under the false mantra that you have to fail forward. You can't achieve success without failing. And that is definitely not something that I believe, and it's not something that our company believes. Failure is not required.
And we are back with Denise O'Malley, CEO and founder of You Define Wellness, and some of the practitioners that we have on her platform. And it's been an awesome discussion today, talking about just all the different modalities and the mind, body, soul connection. And so we are going to be talking now with Terry and Kelly, mother-daughter duo of Fearless Generations, and they are Fearless living coaches. Kelly's been a certified living coach over 13 years, mom of 6, and her mom, Terry. With her dynamic duo, I actually had the opportunity. I got to win a free hour session with them, risk die assessment. I made it through. Thank you, ladies. But totally fun. I loved my time with you, and we're excited to have you here and to hear more just about your passion of helping people and why you decided to become part of You Define Wellness.
Yes, well, thank you for having us. I think one thing that makes Terry and I so unique is that we are a mother-daughter team. We received the same training from the Fearless Living Institute, yet we coach very differently. So you get a very expansive set of support from us because we come from different generations and we are raising different generations. And so we come to the table with different things.
It's exciting to be able to work with my child. I'm amazed every day at her expertise and how she's grown through the process of discovering her fear and learning to take fear's hand and to walk through the journey of life, learning from that and doing it anyway. And I've just been so impressed with what we've heard this morning. I have had my hand analysis. It's been amazing to align my purpose. I was an educator for 40 years. And when I retired from that, I didn't know what my purpose was. And so I worked several years to discover my purpose and landed in Fearless Generations, Fearless Living. And Kelly and I, from that point, developed our business to assist people who are stuck, who, for whatever reason, emotional, spiritual, physical, at one side of a bridge, and we help them get to the other side. So what we do is help people bridge from where they are to where they want to be, to live the life their soul intended. So I've heard so many commonalities with the work that we do this morning. And it's just such a privilege and an honor to join with Denise, whose vision is so in alignment with our vision and our purpose. And I could say the same thing about all of you. And I've heard you speak this morning. What an amazing opportunity to be to have that kind of access to that many modalities. I heard Eva talk during another challenge we did a couple weeks ago, and it was right what I needed to hear. And so I'm just so thrilled that we can offer everyone has fear. Fear is universal. Fear is what stops us from moving forward, whether it's to go to a holistic practitioner because we're afraid, is that we don't step outside the box, or we're afraid to say, oh, our message is in our hand, it's in our face, our purpose can be discovered. Those fears keep us from moving forward, keep us from being the person we were created to be, what our soul intended us to do. And for Kelly and I, our purpose is to help individuals to recognize how fear is stopping them from living the life that God created them to live, and giving them the tools and strategies in order to cross over that chasm, that river, that canyon, whatever it is, that fear that's keeping them from being that. And it's so, after teaching kindergarten for as long as I did and watching children bloom and giving them that foundation where they could be successful, I thought, for the rest of their life. Everything you've ever needed to know, you learned in kindergarten. And at the same time, now as a fearless living coach and working with Kelly together with her, the synergy that we have has expanded our relationship beyond measure. And to think that we could do that for other people to help them expand, live their purpose without fear, or recognizing how fear can assist them in being successful. So it's just really an amazing opportunity to be here this morning, a blessing to hear. I took copious notes about each of you. Just can't wait to connect with you and with You Define Wellness.
Awesome.
Yes, definitely. It's been, sorry, go ahead, Natalie.
Well, I was going to say that's what Terry, or what you guys were just saying, that's what I loved about the time that I spent with you, to be honest. I loved that it's like, Kelly, we're not in the same seasons because you have 6 little ones at home, but we're closer, right? We're more in that together. And then Terry, you're right. I have the wisdom of you've already been through where I'm going through. And so when I had the 2 of you together, that's what I really appreciated about it is I got, okay, this is where we're at. And I had the wisdom of you've already been there as well. And so I just loved my time with you guys so much. So I just wanted to add that.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, we hear a lot that people love how we interact with each other. We kind of have a little banter back and forth sometimes, and they enjoy what we both bring. And as Terry was saying about her witnessing my journey, it's very amazing for me to watch her journey. It's something unique to me from my siblings is I get to see her progression and her changing her life step by step. And she likes to say she's in the 3rd act of her life, yet she also says it's never too late to change. And she is definitely proving that every day. And so we came to You Define Wellness because we saw a platform here where we could really shine a light on what it is that we do and get it out there to more people. And that is really what we're passionate about. We're passionate about exposing fearless living and the tools and strategies that we teach to as many people as possible. And I came to fearless living because it was something that I needed for my life. And when I saw the changes in myself, I was like, oh my goodness, if I can do this, anyone can do this, right? We've all felt that, I'm sure. And so I decided that this was something that I wanted to pursue. I wanted to pursue being a coach within this program. And then Terry joined after she saw all of the transformation that I had. So it's been a really amazing experience to be able to come together and coach together as well as coach on our own.
Wonderful. So Denise, tell me if someone's watching the show today or if someone comes across, wanting any of the services of anyone that's here, do they just go to You Define Wellness and decide, hey, I would like to, Dr. Erika's in my area. Do they seek her out there or how do they get these resources?
We have a ton on our website. In fact, anything you need to know about us is on our website. So if you are looking to connect with one of these ladies here, you can absolutely, their websites have been shown as well, but you can go to our You Define Wellness and go look under resources. You'll find the Wellness Center and you can search for them. You'll find the different types of services that they offer. If you are a independent health and wellness expert and you're saying, oh my gosh, I want to be a part of this world. You know what? There's something about how to join our network. It's up at the top on the menu bar. But also doing something new. And that is a healthy living and well-being plan for individuals, retirees, entrepreneurs, and even the workplace. And it is comprehensive. It encompasses the 3 different stages of process of change, and that's learning things, planning things, and then doing things. And it includes services from these ladies, as well as the hundreds of other providers who are in our network. We're growing this. We have about 100 coaching programs right now loaded into it, but it's growing day by day.
And for that package, is there a certain time of year where you'll like open enrollment or things like that, or can people look at this for any time for their business?
They can look at it at any time. We do have some special offers on the base level plan that will go until June 15th of 2022. So you can save 20% on the base level plan of education if you sign up between now and June 15th. But it's not something that's subject to certain enrollment dates. An employer who says, oh, I got to wait until my health insurance renews. No, you don't. Because our program is outside of insurance. It's outside of Section 125 rules that you can add it at any time you want.
Okay, great. That's good to know. Awesome. So let's go back around let's start back to Dr. Erika, and let's just hear, we have about 15 minutes left with you guys. If you want to take 3 or 4 minutes each, just tell us maybe a little bit more about your services, what you do. We'll kind of wrap up towards the end, and we'll start with you, Dr. Erika.
Okay, awesome. So I mentioned earlier that I am a licensed acupuncturist, doctor of Chinese medicine and acupuncture. That's where I got my roots. But I actually discovered something along the way. It was when I was in grad school learning to become an acupuncturist. And I had gotten to the point where my health tanked, and my twin sister, who's a chiropractor, was actually learning this technique that was allowing her to work with her patients on a new level, which was to design clinical nutrition programs to help them heal from chronic issues, something called nutrition response testing. So we do that in our brick and mortar practice, but then I've also developed a technique throughout the years that allows me to work with patients that are not in my location, which has been extremely effective as well. So that's the majority of our practice. We're growing the most in that realm. I do have another acupuncture practice in Michigan, and then also I do acupuncture locally here. But our real driver and our real focus is in the clinical nutrition area, functional medicine area, working with patients in that capacity. It just made the biggest difference for me. I thought it was crazy at first. I was, like I said, I came from the corporate world. I was like many people that are probably listening to this podcast, this event today, and just, I didn't understand any of it. I thought it was all strange. I thought it was woo-woo. She just said, you just need to go to this person. She's advanced trained in it. She can help you. Within weeks, my energy was completely different. I went from not thinking that I was going to make it through my grad school program, which was going to be another 3 years ahead of me, to running circles around my classmates, basically going to classes on the weekends, doing education 7 days a week, just because I was so inspired to learn it. And I opened up my practice when I was still 2 years into that program, started seeing patients. So I've been seeing patients for about 10 years doing this work. I absolutely love it. I have also, during that time, I didn't see Jayne at that time. I have since seen Jayne for her hand analysis, but I did have another practitioner who was, I think, one of her teachers, we've talked about it, do a hand analysis on me. That also helped me in terms of knowing that I was on the right track, because I left a high-paying career in corporate America, very comfortable. Talking about fear, man, I had to overcome a lot of that to get myself in that position. I remember people coming into my office going, "So you're leaving to become an acupuncturist?" And I was like, "Yep." And then they would have a confession. They'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're so lucky. You're following your dreams." And I was like, yeah, I am, but it didn't come without having some appropriate coaches along the way that helped encourage me, because, that fear is real, and you bump up to it every single day. But yeah, that's my story. It's been incredible. I feel very fortunate to be able to serve in this capacity to help improve the community or the health of my community. So, yeah.
And super cool that you do that with your sister. Your twin sister. I bet that's fun day in the office. Acupuncture and chiropractic.
We don't work together. She's in a different state, but we were just before the call or before the show, I was on the phone with her this morning, and we just share clinical information, and here's what I'm seeing, and so we'll just go back and forth, but it is fun. Yeah.
That's awesome. Jayne, our purpose whisperer, everyone's singing your praises. I can't wait to get my hand done. Oh, and you are muted.
Oh, there, you got it. I said it's just a small world. It's amazing. Yeah, clients in 12 countries, but a ton even here just in Denver, even though I don't do them in person. As I mentioned, I do them on Zoom. I just want to mention, people are like, well, scientific hand analysis, what's the science about it? The lines in your hands literally mimic the neural pathways in your brain. And that's why it's so accurate and reliable. And yes, the main thing usually people seek out a hand analysis for, a scientific hand analysis, is their purpose. But it's a very deep dive into who you are and why you're here. The self-awareness is profound. And the vast majority of my clients to date have been entrepreneurs. So a lot of times people come to me because they're not making the money they want to make, and they're not sure if they're in alignment with their purpose. And that can happen. If you're not aligned with your purpose, you won't. One of the biggest challenges is the income won't line up, won't achieve goals. And sometimes there's other reasons that can happen. And taking action on the information in your hands impacts everything. I always tell everybody there are no predictions with scientific hand analysis other than, I don't care how good your life is now. If you take action on the information in your hands, it will only get better. And I do have one of the coaching programs on Denise's You Define Wellness platform. And I have been coaching for decades. So that's a huge part of what helps me fulfill my purpose, is coaching people to get them on theirs and work through their blind spots and achieve the goals they want to achieve. And Denise, I hope it's okay if I use you as an example, since you put it in the comments. Yeah, so you all know now what Denise does. She's created this incredible, huge platform that's all about health and wellness. And the core of her purpose from her hand analysis, because there's a core and then there's an expanded version too, but the core of her purpose is captain of the ship with a healing message. I mean, so she is meant to be in charge, and she is, and she's created this amazing thing, and it's all about healing and wellness. I mean, that gives me goosebumps. That's how accurate this stuff is. I mean, I love it. I just love it. So yeah, it's all about all different 360 health, how it impacts you, mental, emotional, physical.
Awesome. So someone in the studio audience wants to know, how do they get started with you? They're ready.
Go through my website at Purpose Whisper, and there's a contact thing. Just reach out and I'll email you back.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I know, me too, Carlson. I'm ready too. Awesome. All right, Eva.
Yeah. So more on this work of hair mineral analysis. It was quite the journey for me to go from being a burned out executive to an entrepreneur, which has its own set of fun. And I say that with all sarcasm as possible, all kinds of fun events that can occur, and personal developments that you don't appreciate in the moment, but on hindsight, really cool. So one of the things that developed for me was some awakenings to what I call my woo side. And the spiritual aspect of healing can, as what was just said, is it goes through mental, emotional, and spiritual, as well as the physical. And I noticed that when the physical body was healing, not only for myself, but for my clients over the years, I've been doing this for more than a decade now, and watching people go through their, what we affectionately call healing reactions, there can be a various number of aspects to them that point to the emotional body having something stuck in it that hasn't been able to process because the body didn't have enough physical energy to process it. And some of that can lead into these spiritual sides of, is this part of my Akashic record? And I might say a few words that you've not heard of, and if you have, fantastic. But I learned about them because I was trained by angels, and that's a weird thing to say too. But if you consider taking the full spectrum of all that we're talking about as true holistic healing, well, shouldn't that be considered normal? And that's part of my journey. I call it the grounded woo. And so not only do I analyze hair, I'll analyze a person's face to see what's going on with their heart, liver, their kidneys, their spleen, all of that. And if they're living in their purpose, not what the purpose is, but we can certainly figure that out with any of my tarot cards. And yes, I do pull those out during consultations too. But based in science, and then as we go through the process of working with someone on all aspects of them, do I have something in my mindset that is not working for me anymore? Outlived its usefulness is something I like to say. And how do we transition that? And how, what's this path forward, which is for everybody a different journey. And so there's no particular curriculum that you can lay out for these are all individualized. It's bespoke health. And I think that's something that we're all saying. And what is the future of healthcare? It's that. It's not going to be so much the cookie cutter. It's going to be the bespoke, what works for me. We're no longer in the age of information. People are tired of hearing about what works for the general public. They want to know not only what's in it for me, but how does this apply to me? And I think that's going to be the important step forward in anybody's health journey, because I know it was for me. And to, again, get rid of some fears and judgments about what you think is part of the health journey and allow for something new in your experience. It can actually result in healing.
Awesome. I love that. Someone put, I need a round with all these amazing practitioners. Well, I will tell you. So we do have, if you go to Facebook, we do have a private group on Facebook, ESC. You can join that group and you have more access to all these fabulous people, and even more so. And they're giving away tons of free stuff on there too. So join our group, and so that way you can have more access to all these fabulous ladies. So Kelly.
Yeah. Things that we provide, we have a podcast that we do every Monday night where you can get tons of information that we give out. We share a tool every Monday night. Sometimes they're the same tool, but they're applied differently. We also have a 12-month program that we really love that's available through ESC and Unified Wellness, where we cover the 12 steps to freedom. And you get this monthly check-in and homework and all of that greatness that we do each month. We also have 6-week classes that we do if you're wanting a smaller commitment of time, and we do workshops. And so if you're interested in any of that, go check it out on our website, fearlessgenerations.org.
Awesome.
And sorry. I was just going to say that support our businesses. I do a daily 1-minute pep talk called Terry Talks, and you can get that on Facebook or YouTube. And it's 5 days a week. And what I do is the step that we're working on, like we're working on intention this month. I do a little challenge, a little call to action, some content around that step. So it's really fun for me to do it. And it's a little one minute. Well, sometimes I go over 1 minute. My little producer there, Kelly, she always is going, you've gone over your minute. But it's a fun way for me to support our clients and others who just enjoy that 1 minute pep talk to help them stay focused on their purpose. And as they're working through their fear, to use that tool to help them bridge from where they are to where they want to be.
Awesome. Well, thank you, ladies, so much. And Denise, I mean, you are just amazing to have this vision to put together this platform to help people and to have this accessible and to create awareness, right? Because it's really about creating that awareness. I think all across the board, everyone has said today, creating awareness so that we can make better choices for us and be an advocate in our own life. And so you putting the work behind this and really just having the vision and going against the norm is really just spectacular.
It was a degree of insanity, I can assure you, that has been great. But, I want to tie this back to your show. It's Better Your Business Show. And, one of the reasons why we wanted to be here, and we thank you for inviting us, and as one of the reasons we're part of the Entrepreneurial Success Consortium, we're the personal development arm. And that's because the people behind ESC recognize that if you are a business owner and you're not taking care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else. Not your employees, not your clients, not your suppliers, no one. So it's just so critical to make sure that you are attaining and maintaining optimal well-being for yourself, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you.
Absolutely. So before we just finish here, can we just go, I want to go back to if people want to be a practitioner on your platform or if they want to add your services to what they're doing. Talk about that.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, you can go to our website and there's a contact us. Reach out to me. I'm more than happy to engage with you and answer any questions you want. If you are a health and wellness professional and you want to be a part of our world, go to how to join the Udefine Wellness Network. It doesn't say those words exactly, but you'll see it on the menu bar. It's over to the right side. It's very obvious. There is a process to join our network that gives you access to our speaking gigs, which we're constantly doing, and so many other benefits available for you. But there is a fee involved in being part of it because skin in the game and the amount of stuff that we're delivering for you. But if you are looking to change your life and you are hearing things here today that you're like, oh, wow, I need that. I got news for you. I got 127, 125 other types of modalities as well that you can pick from. And think of us as your GPS. If you need help finding your way, we can help you get there. And that's what our plans are all about.
Awesome. I love it. I mean, it just makes sense to get on there. If you're a practitioner, why not get on there? Why not get that exposure to people that are looking for you and your services, right? That's the number one thing people say. Where do I get my leads from? How do I meet people? Again, there's just so many opportunities around you and people that are passionate about being part of it with you and making that difference and want to be on that same team with you. So ladies, thank you so much for joining us this morning and just giving us some of your insight in that, just being a crusader and talking about things that we don't normally talk about and going against the green on the stuff that we need to do to live healthy lives, long lives that are purposeful, intentional, where we get to make that impact and make that difference. And it does start with us. You guys are all definitely doing that. And we are so thrilled to be part of this journey with you and to have you here today. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. So much stuff going on with the Better Your Business Show. We have expanded. So you can find us on any of your favorite platforms. If you're a podcast listener, we are now on Spotify, Audible, Apple Podcasts, Google, Amazon Music, to name a few. So if you've been a featured expert, go on there, see if you've already been transmitted. You're on there, find yourself, follow us, share your show, expose your business, so you can go and follow us on any of those. We will see you here next Monday. Do something this week that will help you better your business, and we'll see you soon. Have a great week, everybody.
One of the problems that I've had thus far is that I'm going on my experience. I'm building a business on my heartache. And one of the things that I've had to take out of that is you can't build a business entirely on emotion. And so this allows me to take the emotion out of it. This is what you need to do, whether you like it or not.
Our goal is simple: to help you achieve the dream and vision you first had when you thought about starting a business. We're here to make growing your business less complicated. There are building blocks to build a sustainable business. We promise to seek them out and address them all. The Better Your Business Show starts